In 2023, astronomers made an announcement that puzzled the scientific community. A galaxy had disappeared. The galaxy first appeared as a glowing blob in observations from ground-based telescopes, then vanished completely when astronomers tried to observe it with the Hubble Space Telescope. Galaxies don't just disappear. They contain billions of stars, massive amounts of matter, and span thousands of light years across. They don't blink out of existence like a light switch, but this one did. The galaxy is called Aztec 71. It was first spotted by the James Clerk Maxwell Telescope in Hawaii, then confirmed by the ALMA radio telescope in Chile. Multiple instruments saw it, multiple teams confirmed it existed. The data was clear. Then it vanished. When astronomers pointed the Hubble Space Telescope at the exact coordinates where the galaxy should be, they found nothing. Empty space, as if the galaxy had never existed at all. This is the story of how a galaxy disappeared, and what happened when astronomers went looking for answers.
The first observations of Aztec 71 came from radio telescopes. These instruments don't see visible light the way optical telescopes do. They detect radio waves, long wavelength radiation that penetrates through cosmic dust and gas. In these radio observations, AZTECC 71 appeared as a blob of light. The shape wasn't clear, but the signal was strong. Something massive was out there, emitting radio waves. The galaxy sits approximately 13 billion light-years from Earth. The light we see left that galaxy when the universe was only about 900 million years old. We're seeing it as it existed in the early universe, not long after the first galaxies began to form. Based on the radio data, astronomers calculated that Aztec 71 was forming stars at an incredible rate. The galaxy was a stellar factory, producing new stars far faster than our Milky Way does today. Multiple observation runs confirmed the detection. The James Clerk Maxwell Telescope saw it. ALMA saw it. The coordinates were recorded. The data was catalogued. Scientists began preparing follow-up observations to study this ancient galaxy in more detail.
Astronomers wanted to see AZTECC 71 in visible light. Radio observations are valuable, but optical images provide different information. They reveal the structure of galaxies, the distribution of stars, the presence of dust lanes and spiral arms. So they turned the Hubble Space Telescope toward AZTECC 71. Hubble is humanity's most famous telescope. For over 3 decades, it has delivered stunning images of distant galaxies, nebulae, and cosmic phenomena. If any telescope could capture AZTECC 71 in visible light, Hubble could. But when Hubble's observations came back, there was nothing there. No galaxy, no blob of light, just empty space. The initial reaction was confusion. Equipment malfunction? Wrong coordinates? Astronomers checked everything. The coordinates were correct. Hubble was pointing at exactly the right spot in the sky. The telescope was functioning normally. They looked again. Still nothing. Other optical telescopes searched the same region. None of them found anything either. In visible light, AZTECC 71 simply didn't exist. But the radio telescopes still saw it. ALMA could still detect the galaxy's radio emissions. The galaxy hadn't actually vanished. It was just invisible to optical telescopes. This created a paradox. How can a galaxy be visible in one type of light, but completely invisible in another? Galaxies contain billions of stars. Stars emit visible light. If a galaxy has stars, optical telescopes should see it, unless something was blocking the light.
Astronomers faced a mystery.
A galaxy visible in radio waves, but invisible in optical light. Several explanations seemed possible. The first was measurement error. Maybe the radio telescopes had the coordinates wrong. Maybe as TECC71 and the empty space Hubble observed were actually in different locations. But checking and rechecking confirmed the coordinates matched. The radio galaxy and the empty optical field were definitely the same spot in the sky. The second possibility was interference from a foreground object. Maybe a dust cloud in our own galaxy sat between us and AZTECC71, blocking the light. But if that were true, the dust cloud would also block galaxies near AZTECC71. Astronomers checked the surrounding area and found other galaxies clearly visible. Whatever was blocking AZTECC71 wasn't affecting anything else. The third explanation involved gravitational lensing. Massive objects bend space and can create mirages, images of distant objects that appear in the wrong location. Perhaps the radio observations were seeing a gravitational mirage, while the optical telescopes were looking at the galaxy's true location. But gravitational lensing affects all wavelengths of light equally. If lensing created a radio mirage, it should create an optical mirage too. The fourth possibility was the most dramatic. Maybe something had destroyed the galaxy. Perhaps as TECC71 had been consumed by a black hole, or torn apart by a galactic collision, or disrupted by some unknown cosmic catastrophe. The radio waves we detected came from 13 billion years ago. Maybe the galaxy only existed briefly and was gone by the time its optical light reached Earth. But this explanation had problems too. Radio waves and optical light travel at the same speed. If the galaxy existed when it emitted radio waves, it should also have existed when it emitted visible light. The two types of radiation should arrive together. That left one final explanation. The galaxy wasn't gone. It was hidden. Something inside AZTECC71 itself was blocking the visible light. Something that allowed radio waves to pass through but absorbed optical light completely.
AZTEC71 is invisible in optical wavelengths because the light from its stars is being blocked by a thick cloud of dust. The dust isn't the kind you find on furniture. Cosmic dust consists of tiny particles, fragments of carbon, silicon, and other elements created in the hearts of stars and expelled into space. These particles are smaller than smoke particles, microscopic grains floating through the galaxy. But there are enormous amounts of it. The dust in AZTECC71 is so thick that visible light cannot penetrate it. When starlight hits the dust particles, the particles absorb the energy. The light never escapes. From our perspective, the galaxy becomes invisible. Radio waves, however, have much longer wavelengths. They pass through the dust like sunlight through fog. This is why radio telescopes could see AZTECC71 while optical telescopes could not. The mystery was finally solved when the James Webb Space Telescope observed AZTECC71. The ghostly object reappeared as a faint yet distinct galaxy in Webb's images. James Webb doesn't observe invisible light. It uses infrared, wavelengths longer than visible light but shorter than radio waves. Infrared can penetrate dust that blocks visible light. This is why Webb was designed to observe the early universe. Young galaxies are often shrouded in dust, invisible to optical telescopes but clear in infrared. When Webb looked at AZTECC71, the galaxy reappeared, not as a blob but as a distinct structure. Webb's infrared vision cut through the dust and revealed the galaxy hidden beneath. The galaxy hadn't disappeared. It had been there all along, hidden behind a veil of cosmic dust so thick that visible light couldn't escape. This discovery revealed something important about the early universe. Many of the first galaxies might be hidden this way. Hubble has been searching for distant galaxies for decades, but it can only see galaxies that emit visible light. Galaxies like AZT-ECC 71, dusty, obscured, invisible in optical wavelengths, would have been missed entirely. James Webb is finding them now.
Aztec 71 isn't the only cosmic object that seems to vanish. Astronomers have documented cases of stars that disappeared without explanation. The VASCO project, Vanishing and Appearing Sources During a Century of Observations, compares old photographic plates from the 1950s with modern sky surveys. The project has found several stars that appeared in old images but are now gone. Some of these vanishing stars might be explained by dust obscuration, like AZT-ECC 71. Others might be failed supernovae, stars that began to explode but collapsed into black holes before the explosion completed. In these cases, the star's light simply stops. The star disappears, leaving a black hole behind. Other objects appear and disappear on shorter timescales. Transient phenomena like novae, supernovae, and gamma-ray bursts brighten dramatically for days or weeks, then fade back into darkness. These events have always occurred throughout the universe, but we're only now developing the technology to catch them as they happen. The universe is more dynamic than we once thought. Objects appear, disappear, and reappear. Some of these vanishing acts are real. Others, like AZT-ECC 71, are illusions created by dust, distance, or the limitations of our instruments. If you find this video informative, please do not forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next one.